race to find a treatment for COVID-19. Scientists investigating whether any drugs already in our arsenal can be effective.
A frantic fight is underway to slow a global pandemic.
We stockpile for wars, but we don't stockpile for infections.
This is the front lines of a round-the-clock fight against a silent killer.
It's just not clear, and for that reason, it truly has been a race against the clock.
Nevin Krogan is director at the Quantitative Biosciences Institute at the University of California, San Francisco. He's on a critical mission, trying to find any already FDA-approved drugs that can slow the coronavirus.
There's a lot of effort out there trying to develop drugs to target the virus, which is great. We're taking a different approach.
Nevin is not focusing on the virus, but its host, us. He broke down the DNA of the virus, finding it has 29 proteins, and then followed the virus's attack to find which of our more than 20,000 proteins it interacts with. He found about 40. That information critical, narrowing down where to focus. A roadmap for scientists. Kayvon Shokot says he's already found about 60 drugs, more than 20 which are already FDA approved, that interact with the same protein as the virus. He is still looking for more.
We're looking in step by step. We're starting at the exact protein, but we're branching out and expanding that list to see what we have that could sort of cordon off the virus.
The map and the first round of those drugs have been shipped across the world to 2 labs that can test the live virus, the Pasteur Institute in Paris and New York's Mount Sinai Hospital.
You said it's all hands on deck.
Absolutely, this is all hands on deck. So I actually proposed it to my team. Everybody volunteer. It's like, because we really have to prioritize right now.
These scientists just part of the hundreds in labs around the world working together in this new normal of social distancing.
Urgency is making us realize we need to collaborate, and I think we're changing the paradigm of how to do science.
Krogan is hoping to post this roadmap online for all scientists to see and use. This unprecedented international collaboration, he hopes, will help flatten the curve.
It's the chance to have an impact on something that is a worldwide public health crisis.
And joining us this morning from San Francisco is Nevin Krogan, director of the Quantitative Biosciences Institute at UCSF. Thank you so much for being with us this morning. I know you have not been sleeping. I want to start first. Tell us more about the help you're getting from scientists all over the world in this search for a treatment.
Yeah, it's actually been quite astounding. Starting here in San Francisco, there's been 22 different laboratories that have essentially dropped everything they're doing. This is at the Quantitative Biosciences Institute and the Gladstone Institute, the University of California, San Francisco, corresponding to hundreds of scientists, just to focus on studying this virus together. And as you alluded to, we're trying to generate this map. We've finalized this map. There's several hundred proteins that we've identified in the human cell that the virus hijacks during the course of infection, and now we've identified, as you say, over 60 drugs and compounds that we think can have an effect. Unfortunately, we don't have the virus growing here, but scientists in New York at Mount Sinai Hospital and at the Pasteur Institute in Paris do, and we're testing those compounds. And Kayvon Shokot and Brian Shortcat were key in identifying those drugs and compounds.
And I know you're waiting on test results from that first batch of drugs that you shipped out. When will you have those results, and what's your next strategy, the next steps that scientists like you will take?
Well, we sent out 10 drugs last week to both New York and Paris, and I'm waiting for a phone call from Adolfo Garcia in the next couple of hours at Mount Sinai. I'm hoping to hear some positive results. And scientists in Paris tell me tomorrow they'll have the first set. We've sent out another 12 drugs. They'll be testing those shortly thereafter. And we're posting all of our findings by the end of the day on open source publication format, bioRxiv, so that people can see our proteins, can see our predictions, our drug predictions, see if they want to test them, see if they can come up with other predictions. So this information will be available to the community very, very soon.
Yeah, it's such amazing work that you guys are doing. Thank you so much for your time this morning, Nevin. And he's posting that map online for all scientists to see. It's one of those rare moments in time where people put aside their egos and they're just working towards one cause.
It's beautiful to see. And these guys, just like the healthcare workers, these guys are the heroes. And if we can find treatments, it's possible we could not just flatten the curve, but bend the curve, which would be amazing. Also, kudos to you. Your science background's really shining through this morning. High-level nerdery from Eva Pilgrim, and we love it.
This clinical trial is up and running in the middle of this outbreak.
This is the fastest clinical trial that I've ever seen come to fruition in this amount of time. And I have to really give credit to the folks at the NIH as well as others who were able to really jumpstart this thing.
Now dedicated to finding a vaccine for dozens of companies around the world are now dedicated to finding a vaccine for COVID-19. And there are scientists working around the clock in a lab in Aurora. And they say they might be among the first to make that vaccine available. Our Karen Morfitt talked with the boss there this afternoon. So Karen, how far along in the process are they?
Jim, they say they have a vaccine candidate ready now, and as we've seen so far, the earliest timeline for any development has been about 18 months. He says they would be ready by the end of the year. While the world watches as COVID-19 continues to spread, scientists are working around the clock to develop a vaccine to fight it.
There are probably 35 companies in some stage of development around the world.
John Price is the CEO of Graphics, a leader in genetic engineering and vaccine development. The majority of their work is done out of a lab in Aurora.
All of the science that we develop is in Colorado. And any new science goes through the lab.
Having developed vaccines for both the MERS virus and SARS, Price says they were able to create a COVID-19 vaccine candidate in less than a month. They are now moving into animal trials.
We believe we can have a vaccine done before the end of November. And that only is restricted by the amount of money that we bring in for certain things, like the manufacturing process.
The question will also be how many doses can be made and how quickly.
Our answer is we can make 100 million doses in 90 days.
By not using any strain of the virus in his vaccine, Price believes it will also be one of the safest.
This isn't an arms race. We are all trying to get to the same answer, so I don't necessarily care who's the fastest, I care who's the best.
Now, Price says if a vaccine is approved right now, they have no plan on how to distribute it. He says that would likely come from the Department of Health and Human Services. For now, we're live. Karen Morfitt covering Colorado First.
We wish them the best. Thanks, Karen.